It feels like it's been such a long time since I made a video, but it really hasn't. It's only been 1 week. I just got used to making them daily, so now more than a day seems like a pretty long time. That's how we tend to think of things. We think of them relative to other things. Say your friend decides to give you a free pie. That's pretty great. Now imagine that she gives you 2 free pies instead. That's way better. What if she had originally given you 436 pies and then she gave you 1 more? Now you have 437, but who really cares? It doesn't seem to make that much of a difference anymore. That's because 2 is 2 times as much as 1, but 437 is only 1.002293579 as much as 436. So we think relatively, and doubling it seems way more exciting than increasing it by that other number. Sometimes I feel like we should try to think less relatively. Choose some relatively healthy snacks for next week. I'm getting 50 boxes of cookies. I said healthy. You said relatively healthy. Relative to 300 boxes of ice cream, it's really healthy. This works in real-life health situations as well. If you want to be healthy, you can't just refrain from eating foods that are bad for you. You also have to eat foods that are actually good for you. And if we've eaten a lot of cake, 1 slice more will make just as much of a difference as the first slice, and sometimes we don't seem to realize that. How did I even get to the topic of health, though? Boring. With the pies, your friend worked just as much to make each of the 437 pies as each of the 2 pies. Well, maybe not. It's always possible your friend started to rush, but let's assume otherwise. Even so, once we start getting more pies, 1 more pie starts seeming less exciting. That's not fair, is it? And being relative is kind of completely worked into human brains. It's science time, yay! When we're first born, we first are able to view changes in amount logarithmically, which is basically through multiplication. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The change between that kind of counting and how we count in our everyday lives does not actually even come naturally. Some researchers went to the Amazon and did an experiment with a group of people in a society that did not count. They laid down 9 objects and asked the people to point to the object right in the center. And we would point to the 5th object, because there are 4 on either side. It seems pretty obvious. The people in the Amazon, though, pointed to the 3rd object, because 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9, so thinking logarithmically, the 3rd object would seem like the one in the center. But in our society, we are slowly taught this new counting method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in math and things, we no longer count in that relative or logarithmic way, but in other places I find we still are very relative. It's good to think relatively sometimes, because that's how we think, and that's how our minds work, and sometimes it does make a lot of sense. But sometimes things should not be relative. Sometimes they stand on their own. LMNOP1214 made a response to what I said about free will, and it's very good, and I think you should watch it. And I had a very long comment in response to that, so I don't really want to say what I said in that comment in this video, but I will say what I think about what she said down below, and you can also look through the comments of Lauren's video. By the way, I have started planning videos that I think will be relatively good. I'm not going to actually tell you any more about that right now, but you can look forward to those. I keep having these little comments on the end, and I don't actually have anything to say in this one, but I feel like if I have more than 1, I should have 3, because that's always a good number for these kinds of things.